now. So let's insert some values inside our table. Okay, how we can insert values inside table? Okay, first of all, we have to use this SQL command. We have to say insert into the table name, insert into customers values, and now let's go to the values. Okay, we know in the customers table we have three values or three properties: the ID, name, and city. And the type of these values, the first one is integer and the last two are characters. So we have to define the values based on the data types that we have inside our table, that we want to add those values or records inside it. Okay, so we have to use this command, insert into customers the values. So how we can add those values that we want? We can add as much as we need inside our table. There's no limitation. Okay, the only limitation that we have in the characters that we have to define in each record for each property. For example, we cannot add a name more than 255 characters for each record. Okay, so we have to pay attention on them, and those are the only limitation that we have added to our records in our customers table. Okay, so there's no any limitation inside adding some records or values inside our table. So let's add them one by one. For example, let's add a unique IDs by ourselves, not dynamically, because we're not going to discuss about adding primary keys or some kind of attributes that are unique dynamically. Okay, so we're going to add it by ourselves. So the first attribute that we have to add is the ID. So I'm going to add an integer called 1, for example, because this is the first record or data that we want to add inside the customer. And let's give it an ID of 1, and name, for example, as a character, Alice, and city, let's add new inside double quotations, New York, and let's add new data, copy it, and paste it here inside the values. Okay, so this is the New York. So I refactored the code, and right now you can see inside the values in these two parentheses we're going to add our records inside the values. Okay, so this is the first record. I'm going to copy it again and here paste it. Let's close this tab. Okay, let's change the ID to 2 and Alice to Bob, for example, and add a city like Los Angeles, and add our third or our last record with the ID of 3, name of Alice again, but this Alice not lives in the New York, she lives in, for example, Chicago. Okay, so let's insert these values inside our table. But before that, let's have a quick look on our customers table and refresh. So right now you can see that we are just our properties and our columns, and there's no row, no records, and no any information inside our table. So how we can add these values? So we can add these records or data to our database inside our table called customers using this SQL command, like insert into customers values, and these are our values based on the attributes that we want to add inside our table that we have defined here. Okay, so now let's run this SQL command, just this SQL command. So we have an error. What is the error? Incorrect syntax near the this inside line 2. So why we have this error in the line 2? This is the first line, and this is the second line that we have a syntax error. So where is the syntax error? Let's find it. But first of all, let's reorder our codes and reformat our codes and run our SQL command again. So we still have the error. Okay. In the line 2, near this. Oh, okay, so I think I found the error, the syntax error. Here we don't need these two parentheses, and right now, if I, inside the values, let's refactor them and make them a little look nicer. Okay. Now, if I'm going to run this command, there is no error, and all the 3 rows have affected in just 7 milliseconds. Awesome. So right now, if we're going to take a quick look into the customer table for one more time, you can see that all the data has been added inside our database, inside our table called customers. And now we can select all the data that we want using the select SQL statement. Okay, how we can do that?